So, hello and welcome back to this episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm very, very pumped to be here again. Today we're gonna I actually just recognize that I've already done it wrong, the wrong way, like I initially thought I wanna do it. Because this is actually the screen, what you're seeing, which is basically about what I'm going to talk about in this episode, or what this episode is all about. But this episode is all about competition. But yeah, because it's somehow unnecessary that I just give you a small little introduction again, I think I'm gonna start just right ahead with the actual summary itself. And yeah, as you can just think of, we are going through Rework again, which is an incredibly great book by the summary. Maybe the book itself is completely shit, I don't know, but the summary itself is just quite nice, I'd say, because it's so detailed, which is, maybe only because of the paulminus.com website, but in general, the website is just enormously great. But this book, or this summary at least, is also quite interesting, but also just really detailed and very just going into detail, I'd say. But yeah, we're going ahead with the competition and copycat. Whatever they mean by copycat. But yeah, I know what they mean, but whatever they refer to. So competition is inevitable, and when someone else... I'm sorry, just had to close my window because it would have been too loud instead. So, competition is inevitable, and when someone else is doing exactly what you want to do, the temptation to copy is high. So, however, Fried and Hyman and Hansen stress the importance of avoiding copying at all costs. They explain that by copying, you're actually setting yourself up for failure. By copying, you miss out on a fundamental step, that is understanding a product, why and how it functions the way it does. And, just read it somehow, not that good, but by simply copying and pasting, you fail to truly understand a product, and that is critical, and that is a critical mistake, which totally is understandable, I guess, because, if you're only really copying, another person who might be, even though I do have to say, if you're just only willing to make a quick buck, then actually just copying somebody, for example, Amazon, and, they're not their products. I do not want to say that you should copy any products, but some tactics or some strategies people have, or people are going through, or going with quite, because this makes sense, because if it is working for someone else, like, I don't know, let's take Amazon, all the products, so every single product on the market, quite everything, then a great support, fast deliveries and all these things. If you combine all these things that Amazon is doing, or the things that Amazon is doing good, and you're copying them, I do guess that you will get a lot of customers. But in terms of actually a product, by copying it, I do not know. I do somehow think unless you aren't copying it better quite, or you aren't making it better, it is just a failure, just from the beginning on. If it is really just a worse product, even if it is just a little bit cheaper, I do think, nobody will buy it. And so therefore, but I'd say, if you're kind of copying it, but you're just making it better, then I do think, it is just, you may fuck your karma with that, but it might work. Now, just as you realize that copying someone else's product may be tempting, if you create a great product, it is likely that someone else will try to copy you. Fried and Hyman and Hansen offer one way to eliminate that risk. They suggest you make your product part of you, make it unique to you and something that no one else can offer. Great advice, because nobody could copy you unless, or just without actually promoting you to some degree, which might then be pretty great, my point of view. Quick tip. If you want to drink something that's quite unusual or quite something new, I'd say, I don't know if this is actually available in English-speaking countries or just other countries than Austria. It is quite, they call it coffee. It isn't coffee, but it's made out of grain and different kinds of grain. And I put a banana in there, so I do not know if you can see it. maybe. Yeah, I'll show you. Looks like this. And it somehow just looks like coffee. It is not coffee because I do not like to drink coffee. And if you put a banana in there, it's getting a little bit sweeter, and you totally taste the banana, and the banana afterwards also just tastes pretty nice. So if you want to drink something else than water, which isn't unhealthy at all, just try this out maybe. But yeah, so you don't always have to do more. When there's competition in a particular market, it is a pretty common approach to want to do more than they are. Add more features to a product or offer more with your service. However, Fried and Hyman and Hansen explain that this isn't the only tactic. You can try to understand, yeah, you should totally understand the customer, but where did I just stop? I'm sorry. You can try to underdo them. So simplify the problem they are trying to solve and leave the difficult aspects to the competitions. Which makes sense, you know. I think a lot of product creators and makers and manufacturers, whatever they're called, do get caught up in that very detail, I'd say, you know. Just simply solving a problem, at my point of view at least, and, you know, I do have to say I've never ever created a product before that was solving a great problem and that helped anybody else. You know, unless, or just, I haven't, but if you count what I'm doing just right now, then I have. But therefore, I just want to say that sometimes I do think that manufacturers and just people who produce these products are getting caught up in the details, and actually just the real thing the product is doing, which is solving a problem, somehow just drifts away a little bit, and they somehow forget about it, and they just, yeah, they are too much in the details. But, you know, then there are some products like, I don't know, Apple, who simplify everything. You know, the whole interface is simplified, the device is simplified, and so on and so on and so on, and they are solving a problem. You know, and they have simplified it. Yeah, I do hope that you get what I want to say, actually. So the authors used the bicycle as an example. For a number of years, manufacturers have focused on producing bikes with the most high-tech equipment, the most gears, fancy suspensions, lightweight, and etc. However, in recent times, the standard one-gear bike with no fancy features have been some of the best sellers. The simplicity is appealing to so many customers, and they end up outdoing the competition by undergoing their product. And I do believe in it, because if it is really a product, and I just try to really get to my point once again, I do think that if you're really creating a product that is just solving a problem, you know, the best way it can, you know, then it doesn't need any fancy features. It doesn't have to be another problem solver as well. It doesn't need to be just something else, which it isn't. You know, it should only just solve this one problem. And if it is doing this in a very great way and the best way you can do on the market, then you're winning. At least at my point of view, at least it would make sense for me. But yeah. So do not get caught up in details, I'd say. But as I said, I do not have any fucking experience, so just take it with a little bit of salt, please. So in the end, it is not worth paying much attention to the competition anyway. Why not? Because worrying about the competition quickly turns into an obsession, which is totally true. Because if you're really just focusing only on the competition, I do think that you're then just focusing more on the competition than what you are doing. And this is just not the best way to go, I guess. Because, you know, in the time you're just watching the competition and seeing what they are doing, you could also just make your product better and your service better and your support better. I do think especially the support is just something a lot of companies lack on, because it is definitely a lot of work, and it is definitely something that's somehow maybe not that nice for a lot of companies, especially startups. But I do think this just really shows the people and the customers you're having and the just people you're serving that you're caring about them. And at my point of view, this certain feeling you give to the people when you're just really caring about them, that you are caring about them, whether the product is working for them or not, that they are happy, and and so on and so on. I do think this is also one of the factors that actually lead a person to actually staying at a company, even though the product might not be as good as it could be or something, only because this person knows that, okay, the support is great and they will help me if there's any problems. But what are they doing right? What are they doing right now? Where are they going next? And how should we react? Every little move becomes something to be analyzed. And that's a terrible mindset. It leads to overwhelming stress and anxiety. That state of mind is bad soil for growing anything. Yeah, it just somehow seems to me that a lot of companies get crippled by the competition, by only just looking at the competition, seeing what they're doing. They actually, as I said before, kind of lack on producing their own shit and just trying to make their own shit the best they can. The promotions and the audiences. Your primary goal should be to get your audience to come directly to you. You don't want to spend all of your time trying to reach them. Once you have established a base of customers who continue to return, who like what you have to say and remain loyal, you've found the most important customers you will ever get. And this is quite something interesting that Seth Godin is quite talking a lot about in his book, This is Marketing. But I'd say that he's just in general talking about this relatively often, because it is important, and I do also think that it is important. And he's always talking about the smallest viable market, and he's talking about some things that are completely true at my point of view, which are that you actually do not need to serve anyone, and that it is actually not that nice or not that smart either that you're trying to serve anyone, because you cannot. A lot of people may be interested in your product, but not all of them. And therefore, just only going to the people that are truly willing to use your product, and that is truly, and your product is truly working for them. Actually, only just marketing to them or just getting them onto your boat or into your boat is the only thing you need, because they will come, they will buy from you, and the thing is, and this is something that I quite have heard often and seen often and whatsoever, there are some companies and or personal brands or influencers and whatsoever who do not have that much followers. But the thing is, they still make more money than just other people who do have just way more followers than they have. Only because they are just, serving and trying to get, these certain specific customers or their certain specific audience to get into their boat. And this is all they need. If they have these, even though it's a very small amount of followers, they don't even need more, which is just interesting, which is also something that I quite have to just put into my mind, because I quite always thought I want to serve everyone. I want to just bring my ideas and what I'm thinking and talking about to everyone. But you can't. You can't, and nobody. Yes, you can. Theoretically you can, but there is no ROI. The ROI is nearly zero, because 99% won't like what you're telling them or won't like your stuff, what you're putting out there. So why would you? Why would you? Teach. Fried and Hyman Hansen point out that selling a product or a service is the primary role of most businesses. There's not many that focus on teaching. However, this is a great point. This is a great option, and most companies don't even consider it. Teach and you'll form a bond you just don't get from traditional marketing tactics. Buying people's attention with a magazine or online banner ads is one thing. Earning their loyalty by teaching them forms a whole different connection. The authors recommend you look to chefs for inspiration. Beyond cooking, chefs write cookbooks. They share the knowledge with their audiences, which gains respect and loyalty. Consider what your recipes are and what can you share with the world, and how can it benefit you. And especially, how can it benefit them? And this is totally something, this is totally, I think, just or I just hear Gary Vee always talking about this, and I also see it, that a lot of brands, especially on Instagram, and if it's influencers, if it's actual brands, if it's big companies, a lot of them only sell. And this is a big problem at my point of view, because if you're only selling, then your Instagram page and whatever page it is only about sales. And if just some people are looking at it, there's only sales, and nobody is attracted by only sales. The thing is, you should also just get a little bit of focus on branding. Having a great brand is something that's incredibly important, and I would say especially in a world where you can basically buy from everyone. Maybe it is the cheapest one you're buying from, maybe it's the most, known one as a brand that you're buying from. And because of that, at my point of view, branding is something that's very, very important and something very, very powerful. Because you can totally see, even though Nike may have a product that might not be as good as, a competitioner's product, but the competitioner is actually someone that's completely not known, people will definitely buy the Nike product because it is Nike. Not because of the product or, whatever, because of this little swoosh symbol or their logo, which is incredible. And yeah, it is just incredible that just people buy because it's a logo. Whether it's just because they trust in a brand, or they just know, okay, this is a great brand and they like it, or they just mean like, yeah, people will view me differently if I'm wearing this shit than when I'm wearing the other shit. That might be just even the same quality and the completely same product, but it's not from Nike. And this is why I think that branding is something that's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. And this was actually something that quite came to my mind relatively late, I'd say. This was actually something that's pretty recent. But yeah, just have to take a little bit of breath. I'm just going so hard today. I don't fucking know why I'm doing this. Just have to calm down a little bit, I'd say. So people want to know as humans, and so therefore just, really to end my thoughts, therefore I'd say just actually sharing your knowledge for free, attention for free, no webinars, no bullshit like this. Even though I do also have to say, in terms of the marketing aspect of your product, actually selling it has a completely different connotation to it than if you're just giving it for free or away for free. Because I do also think that some people even will just value it more if it is just costing them something, even though it's the exact same information they're getting. Just only because they have the pain, quote unquote pain, that they actually have to just pay something for what they get. Just let them work a little bit harder and let them learn maybe a little bit harder, or take it more seriously than if they didn't have to pay anything, which doesn't make any sense. But I do think it's what it is. As humans, we are all incredibly noisy. We all want to know as much about everything as possible. Just consider the amount of reality television being broadcasted these days. So Fried and Hyman Hansen recommend you tap into this and explain to your audience exactly how your business works. Give them the insight into what you do and how you do it. This will be exciting for the customers, and they will become more loyal to your brand and your products, which is incredibly true. And I do really believe in this, and this is also one of the reasons why I actually started to vlog, to actually show the people. And it's also great documentation. Do not get me wrong, I do not only think about, I want to get as much people on my shit. I do somehow want, but not that negative. But it's also great documentation as well. If I'm viewing my own videos in 30, 50, 60 years, or if I'm just really famous then these videos will just blow up. They just will. It's just something for the long term to actually be like, okay, in a few years, these videos will be so popular because most of the people will be interested in how everything started, which is true. Everybody would just like to have a video of Jeff Bezos packing his books into his kind of cartridges and just selling them. Everybody would be interested in that and at least would watch it one time because it is interesting. And this is one reason. On the other side is definitely what they say, that reality television is something, television is definitely something a lot of people are interested in, and a lot of people will just watch if it's, the real a reality television thing, or if it's actually a vlog, or a behind the scenes thing, people are interested in it, which is quite interesting. And this is also one of the reasons why people actually just watch every single accident and just always look when there are more people. They will always come, and whatsoever. We are truly noisy. The authors also emphasize the importance of being as real as possible. Share the struggles you have faced and any setbacks you have had. This will only make you seem more real and relatable. Customers will love it. And give a little bit away. Fried and Heinemann Hansen consider successful drug. So Fried and Heinemann Hansen consider successful drug dealers. How do they sell more of their product? They give a little bit away for free, knowing that the product is good enough to get the customers coming back for more and paying for it. So they recommend emulating the business model, give something away for free, give your customers a nice taste of your product, and ensure that they want to come back to make a purchase. Which is just, I do not know. I often come to the conclusion that a lot of things, they say in books or you read or whatsoever, is something that's so normal, so common sense. It just makes sense. But I also think that a lot of people, and as well as me, I do not quite think about it, always. And then it is quite nice to just somewhat get reminded, okay, there are just really simple things you could be doing. But I think the problem there is more that a lot of people won't do it. Whether it's actually starting their own shit and just using the things they know. I think a lot of people actually think like they actually just need more knowledge or need more, I don't know, to actually start their own shit. But actually they know, they know a lot and they know enough quite to start their own shit. They just have to start. And I think this is something a lot of people struggle with. And I think it's the same thing with me. I still just, try to do everything I want to do in terms of starting it. But sometimes, for example, I actually, I'm just pandering around totally a lot with me actually just trying or actually starting my own brand in terms of, clothing brand, because I'm a designer and I know I could totally put a lot of designs I've already made on them, and I just will also use the just self-development thoughts that I'm having and just put them onto t-shirts. Because I think it would be nice, but I also think, okay, is this something that will work for me? Is this something that's quite worth the effort and the time that I have to put into it, and so on and so on and so on. So therefore, there are quite a lot of factors, I'd say, that just really lead to me actually saying, okay, yes and or no. But yeah, somehow difficult. But I will totally just tell you people there if there's actually something that's coming up or not. It's a myth. We've all heard about the fairy tale overnight sensation, which is total bullshit. Totally. You know why? Because most of the people actually worked for so many years, so for so many months, to actually get to this point where they say, okay, it's an overnight success, quote unquote. But they are not, because they've worked for such a long time until they came to this point, until they got this good at their certain skill or talent or whatever it may be. So when you hear about when you hear how their business took off overnight, you're likely to feel ripped off and like a bit of a failure because your business isn't an instant success. But Fried and Heinemann Hansen point out that the truth is these overnight sensations usually have a lengthy backstory with years of work. Which is totally true. A lot of people, a great example, I'm just trying to find one. Maybe this will even happen to myself. Maybe even one of these videos that I'm putting out will just get a lot of attention. Maybe, I don't know. And then everybody's like, it's an overnight success. And I'm being like, fuck you, man. I've just worked on it for so long. Even though I have to say, even if it's feeling a little bit long for me right now, it is only 5 months. I guess it's 5 to 6 months or something, so half a year quite, that I'm working on what I'm just working on right now, which is nothing. There's so many people. I've actually seen recently a video where there was a podcaster who was podcasting for 11 years and couldn't make a living out of it. Which is just, I do think a lot of people who start actually doing, what I be doing and just, the podcast or the social media stuff, I think just most of the people mean like, okay, they just understand there's a lot of work to put into it, but there will definitely be a return. But it's not the truth. It doesn't have to be that you actually just, this is going to be a success for you. Doesn't have to be the case. You could just, work for 5 years and then nothing happens and you just, let it be because you just realize, okay, this is nothing that works for you. Could also happen. I do think that, at the end, if you do just, I do not know. Maybe I just have, I completely believe in it that it will just, work for me at a certain point of time. I believe in it because I do not see, any factors that kind of lead to me not getting to where I want to get. To be really honest, I do think, I'm just putting out fucking 10 posts a day. I've already posted over 1,000 and every 10 days there are 100 more. It's incredible how much stuff I put out. And therefore, I guess, there's no chance for me not getting recognized, first of all, but there's a completely another factor if people actually like what they see on my pages and on my YouTube and whatsoever. I definitely get the recognition, I'd say, but if they like it or not is something completely different. Something I do have to say. But I don't know, I do think that a lot of people have a sense for it on themselves. If they just really are working hard on the things, they can definitely say, okay, this is going to be great for me or not, or this is going to work for me or not. Sorry, I just have to plug in my PC. If they just know, okay, they're working so much that there's no other chance that there, won't be something just coming out of it. Yeah, I don't know. So, trade the dreams of overnight success for slow, measured growth. It is hard, but you have to be patient. You have to grind it out. You have to do it for a long time before the right people notice. Definitely. For me, it hasn't worked up to now, but maybe tomorrow, which is also always a great thing, I'd say. It could always be tomorrow. It could always be today even, or, the next week, or the next month, or the next year. It could also took off every single time. Every single time. Hiring. When to hire. First up, Friday and Hyman and Hansen explain that you should always try the job out yourself before you hire someone for the role. It is important that you understand what the job entails, what the job looks like, and how you would like it to be done. It helps with making decisions around hours, salary, and the kind of person you are looking for. It also might make you realize that you are completely capable of doing it yourself and don't actually need to hire anyone new. Definitely. But I do think actually trying all these things out and trying if they are working for you, if you're able to do them, or all these things that they just explained, just takes a lot of time. And the problem there is that not so many people do have the time, especially business people. They do not, practically have the time to actually just try out every single thing they, could be doing on their own. Instead, actually just hiring and firing pretty fast would be an alternative, I'd say. But I don't know. The authors explain that hiring should never be done for pleasure. It should only be done to eliminate pain. Don't hire someone simply because it would be nice to have to do certain elements of the job. And when faced with extra work that is a burden and it is getting done and it isn't getting done, consider other alternatives before you jump in and hire someone. Look at different software options, automations, and consider the consequences of not doing it all together and outsourcing. I do just really have to say, I think outsourcing is something that a lot of businesses could contribute from actually, because you can actually, it's, ethically, I do just really have to say it's nothing that's, I don't know, but you can totally just, hire someone from the other side of the planet who is just, working for way less, who are living in a country where living costs are way lower, and just pay them decent. Please pay them decent, not yeah, I think like, even though not all the people who are working for someone are just only going for the money, definitely not. And a lot of people just really want to have a great workplace. And, there are just a lot of factors that lead to happy employees, I would say. Money isn't always the only thing that's on their mind, but actually hiring someone and outsourcing and hiring someone from the other side of the planet where living costs aren't that much, and actually paying them decent for what he's doing, if he or she is doing it great, might be an option. The thing is, you're still saving a lot of money because you do not have to hire someone. But on the other hand, he may just get way more than all the other people, in his country are actually getting. You could do this, or you could be like a complete fucker and just pay him minimum wage in his fucking country or whatsoever, and just, I don't know, take advantage of him, something. But please don't do that. Please don't do that. Yeah, I do hope I will just finish this summary quite quickly. There's just a bit. Yeah, it will definitely be tomorrow when I'm finishing this one. I do hope you have enjoyed this episode. I do have to say it was somehow a little bit different than all the other ones. I just felt like not too empathetic. I just put a lot of information in there. Maybe it was a little bit too fast, maybe a little bit too, I don't know. Last few days it's not working as I wanted to work, to be honest. But never mind. I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. If there's something completely, hit me up. And do remember to just do not forget to think about how you're going to be remembered, so you quite your legacy, and about giving back to other people, because this is incredibly important and incredibly valuable for your life and your own happiness. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you've also just, watched the other episode or will watch the other episodes, and I'll see you. At least tomorrow, I'd say. I hope.